I stared at the blank spaces on my midterm exam, and I knew I was in deep trouble. I was in college, and at that time, my whole identity was wrapped up in being the perfect student. I was the kind of person who got straight A's, skipped ahead in grades, and I jumped through all the hoops like some kind of prize-winning show dog. I thought that being a good student meant I was a good person, period. Then there was anatomy and physiology class, the class that made me question my life choices. I was a bio major, so I had to take it, but I hated every second. My professor's voice would just drone on, and I fell asleep every class. I was barely passing, and I knew before the midterm I had to either study hard or go down in flames. So there I was the night before the test, hitting the books, when then I got a text. Bing! I look at my phone and it says, Botticelli girl. I was like, oh my God, Botticelli girl is texting me. Now her name was really Chris, but she had golden ringlets, piercing green eyes, and a face that belonged in a Renaissance painting. And I had the hugest crush on her. So I was faced with a choice. Be good and study for the exam I would probably otherwise fail, or be very bad and go out to meet the gorgeous girl who for some reason had texted me of all people. I chose bad. So we walked all over campus, and it was one of those casual hangs that slowly, quietly turns into a date. I looked over and I thought about what it would feel like to hold her hand. And then there was the electric thrill of reaching out and actually doing it. We talked for hours. I kissed her. I found out what her shampoo smelled like. And then eventually she invited me back to her dorm. So that night, technically, you could say I ended up studying some anatomy and some physiology. But I did not sleep a wink. You could say I was a hands-on learner. Now, the next day, the exam came, and I filled out half of it with guesses and left the rest blank. Turns out I had not learned anything about hormones the night before, at least in an academic sense. When I got the test back, it was worse than I feared. I had failed so bad there was no way I could pass the class, even with perfect scores, even with extra credit. I was devastated. If I wasn't the perfect student, if I wasn't the straight A's, like who was I? Was I even a good person? Then I waited and held my breath. But nothing bad happened. The sky didn't fall. My friends didn't lose respect for me. I didn't become a terrible person. And then I slowly came to know that I didn't have to hold on to that perfect student identity. The thing with Chris fizzled out pretty quickly, but that night taught me something really important. That I could look beyond myself as a perfect student, that I didn't have to see myself as good or bad, that I could accept myself more as a whole person, because I had made a human, somewhat reckless, and let's be real, very horny decision. And besides, being bad was way more fun. Thank you.